Our home is Canada, and we do not consent.
My name is Tom Allen, and I am a documentary filmmaker, and I do not consent to 5G.
What's your country?
I'm from Sweden.
My name is Helene Rebel. I'm a resident of Sweden. I do not consent to 5G.
Hi, my name is Nicholas from Sweden, and I do not consent to 5G.
Wales, we do not consent.
New Zealand, I do not consent, and neither do thousands of other New Zealanders who signed the petitions against the rollout of 5G without adequate safety testing.
Pakistan, मैं राजी नहीं हूँ.
Wir werden der Installation von 5G in Deutschland nicht zustimmen.
ما به 5G رضایت نمیدیم.
Hi everyone, this is Dorotea from Croatia. Mi ne pristajemo na uvođenje 5G tehnologije. There are numerous transmitters in the residential areas, near playgrounds, on the hospitals, buildings and even on houses. And many of them are illegal. We have to stop this. No one has asked us any questions whether we agree with 5G and small cells everywhere, and no one has warned us on negative effects.
Hi, my name is Zen Honeycutt, and I'm the founding executive director of Moms Across America and the group Mothers Across the World. We do not consent to 5G, nor do we consent to 4G and 5G together in small cell wireless telecommunication facilities in our neighborhoods or in our commercial districts, on our hospitals, on cars, in buses. We do not consent to the constant radiation and constant surveillance, the constant data collecting of our personal information. We know that this data downloading that the telecom companies are offering us is not just for us to have better movie downloads from 8 seconds to 2 seconds. It's so that they can download our data and sell it to big corporations and make more money. We do not consent to have to flee our homes and leave our churches and our schools and our friends and our loved ones and our families because we can no longer live in our homes due to the constant radiation from the small cell facilities for 5G. We know that all of our internet needs can be met with wired fiber optics.
Hej, mitt namn är Mona och jag är från Sverige. 5G-utbyggnaden leder till en massiv ökning av skadlig mikrovågsstrålning som redan före utbyggnaden gör människor sjuka i stor omfattning. Ingen forskning visar att 5G är säkert. Tvärtom visar omfattande forskning att redan befintliga tekniker som exempelvis 3G, 4G och Wi-Fi är skadlig för människors hälsa. 5G är farligt. 5G måste stoppas för vår gemensamma framtid.
Hi, my name is Kathy from the United States of America. I'm an electromagnetic radiation specialist, and that means that I help people reduce their exposure to EMFs. I have hundreds of clients who have multiple health problems from our increasingly connected world. Because of our wireless communication devices, I know hundreds of people that get headaches, insomnia, migraines, pain, depression, anxiety when they're exposed to these electromagnetic fields. My job should not exist. All of these health problems are 100% preventable. All beings on this planet will experience health problems from the rollout of 5G and from the increase of electromagnetic fields due to our dependence on wireless communication devices. My clients do not consent. The birds do not consent. The insects do not consent. The trees do not consent. The rivers do not consent. I do not consent.
The USA, we do not consent.
Michael Lee, USA, we do not consent.
Stop 5G!
Yeah.
United Kingdom, I do not consent to 5G. It's a danger to human health and to the ecosystem of this world.
UK, we do not consent.
UK, I do not consent.
I am Matthew from the UK. I am electrosensitive and have enough difficulty coping with the EMFs we're already exposed to. 5G will only make things worse.
Hi, my name is Halima and I am from Sweden, and we do not consent to 5G because it's dangerous for our health, for the health of our children, for our nature and our animals.
My name is Christian. This is Luxembourg City. And I tell you, I do not consent to 5G.
Bonjour, je suis Agnès du Luxembourg. Cette vidéo pour vous dire non au déploiement de la 5G au Luxembourg, en Europe et partout dans le monde. Nous en avons assez du déploiement de ces nouvelles technologies qui sont censées soi-disant améliorer notre quotidien et qui ne font que rajouter sans arrêt des nouveaux dangers pour la santé humaine, pour l'environnement, pour les animaux. Nous vivons cette crise sanitaire planétaire du coronavirus. C'est pas la peine de nous rajouter encore une autre crise sanitaire avec le déploiement de la 5G. Vous seriez amené également à déployer le nombre des satellites en quantité astronomique. Non, non et non.
My name is Emma in California, and I don't consent to 5G. And this is because there are thousands of scientific studies showing that wireless radiation does cause harm to humans and animals and plants. And the best thing for you, if you have questions about that, is to go look at the Bioinitiative report, which is the most comprehensive review on studies on the adverse health effect of wireless technology. It was authored by 30 leading scientists and public health experts from around the world. And they reviewed 1,800 studies, and their conclusion is bioeffects from cell phones, Wi-Fi, cell towers, and smart meters can occur within minutes of exposure. We also have the National Toxicology Program, which was our own government study. It came out in 2018, and it was the largest study of its kind, and it also showed health effects from wireless radiation. And they were looking at 2G and 3G, and now we have 4G, and they're putting in they're implementing now the 5G system, which will be the infrastructure for the Internet of Things, which basically means that we will have much more radiation in our environment, and we won't be able to escape it. So basically that's why we're opposing 5G, and in general we're trying to spread awareness about the dangers of wireless radiation and trying to spread a light on the fact that a lot of scientists around the world are actually raising the alarm bell, saying we need to act now. And what's going on in my country regarding 5G opposition? We have been protesting once a month in LA. We also have our group 5G Free California is meeting once a month, and we have smaller groups within our group that meet once a month as well, working on different areas. We do have organizations suing the FCC. So really hoping that we will see some change. Right now we're very concerned because we are on lockdown because of this crisis with the coronavirus, and while everyone is inside, they're putting up even more 5G infrastructure everywhere and in schools as well. So a lot of people are very concerned right now. I am lucky enough to live in an area where we don't have a cell tower, and I am hoping it will stay that way. If it doesn't, I will definitely be fighting it with my local group. I don't have Wi-Fi in my home because I have read up on a lot of these studies, these very comprehensive studies, and the evidence is clear. Radiation does cause harm. And I choose to live without wireless radiation in my home. Instead, I have everything wired, my phone, my computer, and it's really not that difficult.
I'd like to live in a world where our children can grow up free of neurodegenerative diseases brought on by non-ionizing radiation, such as 5G millimeter waves. I'd like to live in a world where pollinating insect populations are strong and healthy. Pollinating insects account for a vast majority of the food we eat, and with every successive generation of wireless technology, 5G millimeter waves being the absolute worst of them all, their populations have absolutely plummeted.
I do not consent to be forced into heavily controlled, heavily surveilled, and heavily irradiated smart cities.
The 5G technology comes with a serious health hazard, and therefore I don't give my consent for its deployment in this country.
Amsterdam, we will not consent. We geven geen toestemming. They are already installing 5G installations on the roofs and the locals didn't know about it. They couldn't participate in the decision-making process. They first also want to cut down the trees, but the locals successfully demonstrate against it. We don't want a future with 24/7 radiation like we are lab rats.
Australia, we do not consent. No 5G rollout anywhere in our country.
Hello, my name is Roberta. I'm from the UK and I do not consent to 5G technology. My reason for this is I became EMF sensitive about 5 or 6 years ago. Did loads of research on how to lower my the EMFs in my environment. I worked with a doctor, an immunologist privately as well. So I've kind of had an understanding about how EMFs affect the body, just from my own sort of personal research. But aside from that, 5G in particular, I do find quite concerning because this is a new technology to what we've had before. It will range up into 20 gigahertz. We currently operate about 6 or less. It's also a form beaming technology. So, you know, this has the ability to harm our eyes, our organs, and penetrate through windows. So I'm particularly concerned, and I will not be consenting because, you know, there has not been any safety testing, which is insane. And I urge people to not be cussed with one another, and to do your own research, and not just listen to what the media tells you. Because this isn't necessarily a conspiracy theory. The conspiracy is that 5G is causing coronavirus, which is, I would say, a harmful statement, but it does not, you know, we can't ignore the fact that there is a correlation between pandemics and RF frequency technology, which is what scientists and experts are trying to warn us about. And we need to wake up and open our eyes and ears, and that profit should never, never, ever come between people, the people and their health. And that's what's currently happening. The only sort of concern I would have, which involves coronavirus, is that 5G could be a lot more worse for our immune systems, and make us more susceptible to viruses. So I do not consent, and we need safety testing done. You know, putting this technology up without, you know, people deciding is ludicrous. And I think that's why people are going to such extreme measures. And that is unfortunate that people are feeling like they don't have this in their own hands, because petitions don't seem to do anything currently. But I would say still sign the petitions and do what you can to spread awareness on this. I do not consent to this. You know, this is beams of radiation coming at us from every angle. We already know the effects of bird migration that just 4G has. And so, yeah, I do not consent. Read up on people like Orrin Miller. Jeremy Raynor did an article on 5G. Just listen to the experts and the scientists, and don't just listen to what the media says, because 5G is potentially very harmful for us all, and we all need to educate ourselves on protecting ourselves from EMF technology, because it seems that only immune compromised individuals or people with chronic illness care about that, and it should really be everyone, because these are our families. We don't know how this will affect the DNA of our children's children. So please, everyone, educate yourselves, and, make yourself heard, and do not consent to 5G. Thank you.
Live in the UK, so work in the UK. Hi. I do not consent. They lied about the fracking. They are lying about 5G. There is no evidence for this virus that's going on. We're all under lockdown. I do not consent. Open the world, ban 5G.
Bulgaria не желаем заради децата ни.
Denmark, we do not consent. Hi, my name is Dorete. I'm from Denmark. 10 years ago, I got sick, and I found out after some time that it was because I couldn't be around wireless technology. I was a teacher, so I gave up my job, and I had to move from the place where I lived. Now I live here in the nature, and I hope I will be able to stay here, but I'm not sure. If 5G is a reality, nobody is sure anymore. I'm very much concerned about this problem, because I'm sure that it affects all living organisms on the earth. And this is urgent that we do something, and do a lot to make this development change radically.
Controversy is frequent when the scientists recognize serious effects on health and on the environment that cause high economic losses. Så er det ofte omstridt, hvad sandheden egentlig er, selvom forskningen taler sit tydelige sprog. Tusind tak for jeres opmærksomhed.
Here in South Wales, in Swansea, our group, Safe Technology Swansea, we have been trying to contact as many people as possible to try and bring to their attention the dangers of not only the new technology for 5th generation Wi-Fi, but also the proven medical and environmental harm of the current levels of EMF radiation. We do not consent to our children, our pollinators, our wildlife, our flora and fauna being exposed to dangerous levels of cumulative radiation. We do not consent to being part of a global experiment. We do not consent to exposing the people we know and love, the animals we know and love, the landscape we know and love, being exposed to technology which we already have an overwhelming amount of evidence to demonstrate that it is dangerous.
We do not consent.
Poland, we do not consent.
I live in York and I'm standing outside York Minster, one of the greatest cathedrals on the planet. We do not consent to 5G. We do not want our airwaves polluted in this great city. I have formed a small group called 5G Awareness York. We have a website, leaflet campaign. We were there at the stand on January, and we'd like to have a stand in April, later on this month. Of course, with 5G, we cannot do that. So here is my contribution. We do not consent to 5G. Thank you.
Carolina, de Portugal.
We do not consent. A gente não aceita, não concorda, não autoriza a instalação de 5G aqui em Portugal.
Portugal, we do not consent.
Afghanistan, we do not consent.
We do not consent. The United Kingdom, Tanya Rebel.
United Kingdom, we do not consent.
United Kingdom, we do not consent.
Not consent. Bulgaria.
Scotland says stop 5G. We do not consent. We do not support it.
We do not consent to being human guinea pigs. We do not consent to untested technology that has been shown to impact human health.
We do not consent to the Internet of Things, as it will massively increase energy consumption, and this is not green.
We do not consent to being experimented upon when no long-term studies have proved that 5G is safe.
We do not consent to endangering our wildlife. We do not consent to blanket exposure to EMFs 24/7, 365. We do not consent to littering the stratosphere with tens of thousands of satellites. We do not consent to being experimented upon.
We do not consent to the Internet of Things being imposed worldwide without consultation. We do not consent to this new technology that has been shown to be unsafe and it's uninsurable. We do not consent to unsafe 5G when it's been stopped in Brussels. We do not consent to private industry connected organisations policing radiation levels. We do not consent to being exposed to increasingly higher frequency EMFs that have not been tested for biological safety.
This is coming to you from London, and we do not consent to 5G. 5G has not been proven safe, and we do not consent to being used as guinea pigs.
Hello, I am Matthew from the UK. I am electrosensitive and have enough difficulty coping with the EMFs we're already exposed to. 5G will only make things worse.
I'm Serena from the UK. There are no safety studies on 5G.
Je refuse que le rayonnement de la 5G nous soit imposé à tous et en continu, sans possibilité de l'arrêter.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Paola, Luxembourg. Je refuse la 5G. La 5G est une pression colossale d'ondes électromagnétiques jamais subie par les humains sur la planète. Elle va détruire gravement l'équilibre du vivant. Beaucoup de personnes sont en colère et refusent la 5G. Une pétition est en cours pour être déposée à la Chambre en demandant plus qu'un moratoire, mais carrément l'arrêt du déploiement. Le gouvernement, pour le moment, reste sourd à notre doléance et manifeste la volonté d'imposer la 5G. Revenons à un mode de vie plus simple et plus sain pour nous, pour nos enfants, pour les animaux, pour les insectes pollinisateurs, pour les plantes et pour la planète. Il est important d'adopter des alternatives fiables comme la Li-Fi, qui est une technologie qui, à travers la lumière, transmet des données, ou la fibre optique. Cette hyperconnectivité facilite la transmission des données, mais notamment nos données privées. Avec la 5G, nous nous exposons davantage à des cyberattaques. C'est une technique énergivore, c'est un gâchis d'énergie qui n'est pas justifié.
What we need to consider is whether the benefits outweigh the costs. Costs to our health, costs to wildlife, including pollinators, costs to our privacy, autonomy, and in fact, democracy. Our cybersecurity, as all these cyber-physical systems can easily be hacked. Energy consumption with all these things humming and buzzing 24/7. E-waste from the manufacturing and disposal of all these things. Effects on our brains and humanity when every human being is connected 24/7 to the internet. And the rare earth minerals used in all our devices and all these internet connected things, the mining for those has contributed to the death of millions of people in the last 2 decades. Perhaps it's time to reconsider and to prioritize health, safety, and well-being. Perhaps it's time to use safe, reliable, wired technologies.
We need consultations before we roll this out. We need responsible action, and above all, we need true ecology.
I second that.
5G wireless technology is being rolled out without strategic health or environmental impact assessments. In other words, it's flouting the precautionary principle as it's being rolled out without due diligence, and the precautionary principle is enshrined in EU law. 5G wireless technology is being rolled out without any public consultations, which is flouting the notion of informed public consent enshrined in the law of the United Nations. The 5G rollout will take no consideration whatsoever of the already electrosensitive people around us. They will have nowhere to escape because 5G will entail 24/7 pulsed, high-frequency radiation from close proximity. In other words, there will be nowhere to hide. Independent scientific research shows that already existing electromagnetic radiation is harmful to public health and ecology, in particular birds, bees, and other pollinators who are extra sensitive to millimeter waves. The ecological footprint, including carbon footprints, of thousands of more satellites in the sky, renewed every 5 years, millions of more transmitters, and trillions of new 5G gadgets all beaming at each other and us, will envelop this planet in an electrosmog blanket from which there is no escape. The Earth has a voice as well, and it deserves to be heard. The consequences of 5G will be enormous. 5G has no place on this planet.
Norge samtykker ikke til 5G. Og vi samtykker ikke fordi at det er så mange leger og forskere som advarer mot 5G nå. De kjemper så hardt de kan fordi de sier at 5G det truer alt vi har kjært. Alt det du har kjært, alt det jeg har kjært. Biologisk liv. Elektromagnetisk stråling skader biologisk liv. Det skader vårt DNA. Det skader oss på så mange forskjellige måter. Både 4G og Wi-Fi og alt vi har hatt i de siste 10-20 årene har gjort det. Men vi ser det ikke fordi det ignoreres av myndighetene. Tegnene ignoreres på at vi har blitt et mye sykere folk enn det vi var før. Og at også dyr og bier begynner å lide av det som skjer. Vi samtykker ikke til 5G fordi vi ikke forstår hvorfor de uavhengige forskerne ikke skal tas på alvor. Over 268 forskere har protestert mot 5G i en internasjonal offisiell appell, og de representerer majoriteten av eksperter vi har på det feltet i dag. Det er sikkert mange andre som sier at mobilstråling ikke er farlig, men det er ikke deres felt. De har ikke studert biologiske virkninger av elektromagnetiske felt. Myndighetene ignorerer oss. Jeg har jobbet som 5G-aktivist i over et år nå. Ingen vil ta ansvaret for det som skjer. Men det vi kommer til å se etter hvert som 5G rulles ut, det er at 5G er et folkemord. Så vi må kjempe så mye vi kan for å få folk til å ta ansvaret sitt. Vi har alle ansvar for å hindre at dette skjer. Norge.
Hi, I'm Beatrice from Italy, and we do not consent to 5G. We do not consent to the compulsory exposure to EMF. We do not consent to censorship of 5G critical contents, and we condemn the installation of 5G antennas during lockdown.
There is no escape from 5G radiation, and it endangers our children and all living beings. It's unsafe and untested technology.
Stop 5G Ireland. There has been no public consent or impact assessment.
Hi, this is Reza Ganjavi, and we say no to 5G. We also want the governments to stop lying to us about the safety of this radiation, this whole class of RF EMF, including 5G, 4G, Wi-Fi, and so on. We're being lied to by our governments, by the industry for sure, and the governments are failing us. The FCC, the BAFU in Switzerland, and around the world, the governments are lying to us. So say no to 5G. Here in Switzerland, we have such a beautiful nature. Everywhere you go is zapped with highly toxic, carcinogenic, DNA damaging radiation. The same everywhere else. People are brainwashed to believe they want faster downloads or driverless cars or Internet of Things. None of these things we need. These are all fake needs promoted by a money-worshipping industry. What we need more of is more love and more peace and more harmony and more organic farming and less gun violence and less wars and so on and so on. Please visit the website emfcrisis.com. There's a lot of other good websites like Environmental Health Trust, Safer EMR, and so on. Educate yourself and bring a change to this catastrophe that's happening to our planet. And also join us on Facebook, Stop 5G group, and also Stop 5G Switzerland. You're all welcome to join us there. And thanks to the 5G International group for bringing people together from around the world. Together we're stronger and we can beat this evil force, the wireless industry.
Stop 5G Isle of Wight, UK. I'm here on the Isle of Wight at Upper Hyde in Shanklin, looking across Shanklin and Sandown Bay over to Yaverland at the other end there, and Culver Cliff, which is a scenic viewpoint on the Isle of Wight here. And here we are. And what is that ugly looking thing over there? That, my friend, is a cell tower which is being upgraded to 5G. Now, 5G, as we know now for certain, is in fact electromagnetic radiation of any sort is not good. 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi, elixirs, cordless phones, you name it, all this wireless stuff compromises the immune system. Okay? I'm producing this video for Stop 5G International Global Protest Day. Now that is a temporary generator which is being used, see the cable running all the way up there, it's going to that tower to supply the power to that tower, because the original power obviously wasn't enough. 5G cell towers use a hell of a lot more power than the old stuff, than the 4G, etc., which is not very good for the national grid, is it, folks?
As someone with electromagnetic hypersensitivity, I have been self-isolating and social distancing for several years in order to reduce my exposure to man-made EMFs from wireless devices and telecom infrastructure. Industry and individuals like Elon Musk do not have the right to saturate the earth with these frequencies. Mandatory exposure from 5G will create more barriers to accessibility for all those like me and seriously threaten the Earth's dwindling insect and wildlife populations.
Bonjour à tous, mon nom est Jean Daniel, bienvenue en Suisse ou plutôt à Genève, où notre association 5G Moratoire pour la Suisse a vu le jour. Nous ne consentons pas et nous nous opposons à la 5G pour les raisons suivantes. La santé du vivant, à savoir les humains, les animaux, les végétaux et tout ce qui vit et respire sur notre Terre. Le champ électromagnétique terrestre naturel est perturbé par la multiplication des émissions d'ondes. La nouvelle génération de smartphones rendra les anciens obsolètes, ce qui générera des tonnes de déchets difficilement recyclables, avec l'impact écologique que cela entraînera. Cela va engendrer le gaspillage de ressources rares pour fabriquer ces objets connectés et les antennes produits par milliards. On nous présente l'Internet des objets comme indispensable, ce qui rend la 5G nécessaire, alors qu'ils sont tous deux tout à fait inutiles et hautement énergivores. La 5G sera le socle rêvé d'une société de surveillance et de la dictature qui ira de pair. Par ailleurs, des centaines d'études faites par des chercheurs indépendamment de l'industrie démontrent la dangerosité des ondes non ionisantes. Ces études ne sont pas reconnues par les gouvernements ni les industries de la téléphonie mobile, et pour cause. La Suisse a le triste privilège d'être l'un des pays à avoir vendu des licences pour la 5G dans l'illusion mercantile de donner un avantage à ses opérateurs de téléphonie mobile, ce qui nous a bien entendu indignés et fait réagir. Aussi, l'association 5G Moratoire pour la Suisse a interpellé les pouvoirs politiques au niveau communal, cantonal et fédéral. Cette action au niveau national a contribué à mener certains parlements cantonaux à voter un moratoire sur les nouvelles installations d'antennes 5G. Cependant, les opérateurs ont contourné ces moratoires en augmentant les capacités des antennes déjà existantes sans qu'il n'ait eu besoin de demander d'autorisation au regard de la législation suisse. Les mêmes cantons ont demandé au Parlement fédéral d'accepter un moratoire général pour la Suisse et la procédure est en cours. Face à la mauvaise foi des opérateurs de téléphonie, l'association 5G Moratoire pour la Suisse a entamé dès l'automne 2019 une veille sur les demandes d'installation et de modification d'antennes et a sollicité la population des zones concernées à déposer des remarques lors de la procédure publique, ce qui nous a permis de retarder significativement ces installations. Jusqu'à ce jour, 27 demandes ont été suspendues dans le seul canton de Genève. N'est-ce pas une belle performance ? 1919 ayant été une année électorale au niveau fédéral, nous avons également envoyé un questionnaire aux candidats à cette élection. Ce questionnaire a été transmis à l'association québécoise Stoppons la 5G, qui l'a adapté pour faire la même action dans son pays. Vous pouvez vous renseigner sur nos activités passées et futures en consultant notre site dont l'adresse figure sur l'image. Bon combat à tous, ne baissons pas les bras, tous ensemble, nous y arriverons.
With all this radiation, I have worked 40 years by PTT KPN Telecom, about 10 years in making radio communication base stations. I was before that radio amateur in forbidden ways, illegal radio amateur, and that's what I working with to make the transmitters from others more safe, less power, less radiation. That was a very long time ago. Many years I warned several people, many people in my neighborhood, in my circles around me, that it is not good. I was also building that, but I was also learning that it was indeed not good. It brings me problems. I was a long time in psychiatric home. That's why they learned me to think not on that purpose. They think about other things and go on with your life, go on with your life. And it was a little while done with it. Because there was a project to show what was your problem
my problem was already gone. But then it came back. It came back. I remembered all these things that they wash it away. Radiation is the problem. Electrification is the problem. We have to go back to candles, oil lamps, something like that. That's impossible, I know, but we have to.
Stop 5G Hungary, Stop 5G Magyarország. Virtuális tüntetés 2020. április 25-e. Stop 5G. Nem akarunk 5G-t ezen a bolygón, nem akarunk 5G-t Magyarországon. Stop 5G. Nem akarunk 5G-t az óvodákban, az iskolákban, az intézményekben. Nem akarunk 5G-t Magyarországon. Tiltakozunk, nem egyezünk bele, követeljük, hogy bizonyítsák be, nem rombolja az egészségünket és az élővilágot. Stop 5G Hungary, virtuális tüntetés 2020. április 25-én.
India, we do not consent. And the reason why I'm against 4G, 5G or any other G is because these technologies have several harmful health effects associated with them. They not only harm humans but also affect birds, plants, animals and the environment as a whole. When we use cell phones, we are given to believe that we are safe because they follow the SAR recommendation or specific absorption rate. But what's noteworthy to consider is that SAR follows the thermal effects of these radiations, or it ensures that these radiations don't cause heating effect on the body. But the harm to us, according to several peer-reviewed studies and journals, is from the non-thermal negative bioeffects. The strength of a cell phone tower is based on its power density, which is considered safe when it's around 0.0001 watt per meter square, according to the Bioinitiative report. However, India follows 1/10 of ICNIRP guidelines, that is around 0.9 watt per meter square. Many countries around the world are not even close, or there's hardly any country that follows the Bioinitiative report recommended guideline or a safe limit, a safe exposure limit. People argue generally that cell phone radiation is a part of the non-ionizing spectrum. But what's important to be noticed is that cell phone radiation makes use of radio waves which are not naturally occurring, but then they are subjected to several modulation techniques, polarization techniques, so that they can reach far off distances and make communication possible, make voice quality possible, make data transfer rate better. These pulsed signals which are subjected to modulation techniques, polarization techniques, and to which we are subjected 24/7, and also owing to the proximity of the towers emitting them, is not relatable when we consider natural radiation coming in, wherein we have the atmosphere protecting us, wherein we have the water and hydroxyl ions present in the atmosphere, the ionosphere which reflects these radio waves. That's not the case in case of the radio waves that are used for communication purpose. Studies do not take these factors into account. They do not consider the 24/7 nature, or they do not consider the strength of the signals that is actually used in communication purposes. The harmful effects attributed in case of humans are oxidative stress, damage to the blood-brain barrier. We know that the human body is composed of 70% liquid, water, and it tends to absorb more radiations, especially the brain, heart, joints, etc. Also, the nervous system operates on tiny electric signals. The human body has a frequency of 62 to 72 Hz. 5G millimeter waves tend to coincide with these frequencies and create havoc. They are also known to affect the permeability of the blood-brain barrier and cause an imbalance between oxidants and antioxidants. As a result, the reactive oxidants increase and the free radicals tend to scavenge the body in search of electrons, causing DNA damage to cells, cancer, tumors, etc. These cell phone technologies are also known to cause sleep disturbances, irritability, damages to the nervous system, neurological, psychological disorders, fertility issues. Not just us humans, but even plants, animals, and birds are affected, as said. Birds, their navigational capability, and owing to the fact that they have a surface area that's larger than their weight, tend to absorb more of these radiations. Studies have shown that the declining number of birds are greatly attributed to this. Also, there's something known as colony collapse disorder, which occurs in case of bees, and this is the reason for their declining number, according to studies. And bees, insects, fruit flies, or any other insect for that matter, is so very vital for pollination and to ensure agriculture stays in place. And this is food that is the sole need of any living being on Earth. For 5G, several satellites would be launched into space, thousands of them. SpaceX alone would be launching around 42,000 satellites, and that would mean that we are completely filling up the ionosphere, and the ionosphere is responsible for the electric activity and these vast number of satellites would literally be subjecting us to these radiations 24/7, and each and every square inch of the earth would be subjected to pulse modulated signals emitted 24/7. After years of denying, WHO has finally accepted and classified 5G as possibly carcinogenic. After all these studies, is it still worth to invest in a technology like 5G? Is it still worth to believe that 4G or cell tower technology does not have any ill effect associated with it? Yes, there are studies that prove that they are safe. There are studies that prove that such things are wrong, are not enough. But then there are enough studies to prove that there are ill effects and very dangerous and scary ill effects associated with these technologies, and it becomes the duty of the government that they take all these studies into consideration before implementing 5G and stop its implementation, and also look at 4G and other technologies and sufficiently investigate before subjecting and risking everybody's life. We are not against technology, but we are against technology that's not safe. We can adopt safe technology, we can get wired, we can use devices like USB to LAN converters, and this would not just improve speed and performance and data transfer rate, but would also keep us safe. Not just such studies, but several people have also attributed several effects associated with these technologies. I myself have felt tremors, palpitations after having used my Wi-Fi router for almost 4 years now, after which I was forced to consult the doctor, and he said that yes, there is something called EHS, and although it's not medically accepted, but still, yes, it does exist. After knowing all this, can we blindly accept 5G? Can we blindly accept this invisible pollutant that's going to tear down the environment? Let's be more sensible. Let's at least have enough studies to sufficiently prove that what are the pros and cons, and then go ahead with what's right and not blindly jump into things. If there are studies proving that they are safe, there are more number of studies or equal number of studies proving that these technologies aren't safe, and it deserves to be investigated, because there are so many cases around the world wherein there are people affected by it. There are declining number of birds, plants being affected. It's now or never. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Monique Lukens, and I'm in Los Angeles, California. I do not consent to 5G, and here's why. It's microwave radiation. I don't want to be living in that. I haven't used a microwave in about 15 years. And Wi-Fi, well, I gave that up about 6 years ago as well. I just would like people to know that this is not any sort of snake oil sales jargon that we are saying that this is harmful. The FCC seems to think it's okay, but they haven't had any studies about 5G or any other cell phone signals officially since the Telecommunications Act of 1996, when most of the studies came from the 80s. So how can they just roll it out during the quarantine? They said it was okay for Elon Musk to roll out 1 million land antennas and 50,000 satellites into space. This is frightening.
Hi, I'm Ann Kirkpatrick from the United States. We do not consent. Wireless radiation has proven to be harmful to humans, animals, and plants. Wireless radiation has been proven to be cancer-causing. We do not consent. I do not want any small cell towers in my neighborhood or anywhere else. Fiber optics is much safer, more secure and faster.
Hi, ik ben Anouk uit Nederland. Ik geef geen toestemming om onze aarde en atmosfeer te vervuilen met 5G of een andere generatie mobiele technologie. Ik waardeer de technologische vooruitgang en de vele gemakken die het ons biedt. Maar laten we eerlijk zijn, draadloze toepassingen zijn geen vooruitgang. De straling ervan treft iedereen, ook als je het niet voelt. De mobiele technologie bedreigt onze gezondheid en onze biosfeer. Het is wetenschappelijk aangetoond dat ruim onder de veiligheidsrichtlijnen er schadelijke biologische effecten zijn. Mensen, planten, bomen, dieren worden ziek van straling. En 5G maakt de situatie nog erger. Er zijn voldoende mogelijkheden om duurzame, humane en veilige technologie te gebruiken om te communiceren. Wees slim. Vervang draadloze techniek door gezondere alternatieven, bijvoorbeeld glasvezel. Zo draag je bij aan een betere toekomst voor jezelf, je dierbaren en alles wat leeft op deze aarde.
Kia ora from New Zealand. I do not consent to the rollout of 5G on this planet. 5G requires a completely new infrastructure because it's using new technology never before used by the telecommunications or wireless industry, microwaves. This means that more cell towers are required, including small cells, which are miniature cell towers attached to utility poles approximately 100 meters apart, meaning they're outside our children's bedrooms. They are outside the childcare centres, the schools, and close above the heads of pedestrians. If 5G is rolled out globally, our whole planet will be irradiated. We not only have to think about ourselves, but we have to think about our future generations and our environment, our ecosystem, our bees, the pollinators. They're at serious risk of harm. 5G is uncharted territory. It has not been sufficiently tested, and no money has been invested by the telecommunications industry to ensure that it is safe for us, our future generations, and our environment. 5G is not being rolled out so we can download movies faster. It's being rolled out because it's required for the Internet of Things. It's required for global surveillance. It is required for global control over us, our future generations. And I won't allow this. Many of us won't allow this. We do not consent to 5G, and we never will. And we will keep speaking up until our collective voices are heard.
Mein Name ist Nicole Wolf. Ich bin Sprecherin der Bürgerinitiative Gesundheitsverträgliche Funknetze im Landkreis Gifhorn und die Vorsitzende des ÖDP-Kreisverbands Gifhorn. Heute, am 25. April 2020, ist der globale 5G-Protesttag. Aufgrund der Corona-Beschränkungen verlagern wir unsere Kundgebungen, Infostände und Demonstrationen auf die digitale Welt. Für diese Kundgebung beschäftigen wir uns mit 5G als das geplante Internet der Dinge und der damit verbundenen massiven Erhöhung der Strahlenbelastung für die Umwelt. Deutschland, wir stimmen nicht zu. Wir sind gegen 5G, weil die körperliche Unversehrtheit nach Artikel 2 Grundgesetz das höchste Gut und mit aller Kraft zu verteidigen ist. Auch wenn uns die Mobilfunkindustrie gern etwas anderes erzählen möchte, nachdem sie einschlägige Studienergebnisse diskreditiert und ignoriert. Tausende Studien belegen massive biologische Effekte mit negativen gesundheitlichen Folgen. Eine Auswahl finden Sie in einer kategorisierten, sehr übersichtlichen Datenbank, von der aus Sie sich zu den jeweiligen Originalstudien klicken können. emfdata.org. Wir sind gegen 5G, weil uns die Grenzwerte nicht schützen, denn diese berücksichtigen die tausendfach bewiesenen biologischen Effekte nicht. Das ist schlicht und ergreifend ein Riesenskandal. Wir sind gegen 5G, weil die ICNIRP, die Internationale Kommission für nicht-ionisierende Strahlung, bestehend aus mobilfunknahen Wissenschaftlern, dem Bundesamt für Strahlenschutz als einzige Beratungsinstitution dient. Dabei gibt es durchaus andere, höchst wissenschaftlich arbeitende Institutionen, denen die Gesundheit der Menschen das Wichtigste ist. Zum Beispiel die Diagnose Funk oder die Kompetenzinitiative. Deshalb fordern wir das Bundesamt für Strahlenschutz auf, die Monopolstellung der ICNIRP zu unterbinden, die Erkenntnisse anderer Wissenschaftler zu berücksichtigen und in der längst überfälligen Überarbeitung der Grenzwerte einfließen zu lassen. Alles andere ist unwissenschaftlich. Wir sind gegen 5G, weil mit der massiven Funknetzaufrüstung unsere Unverletzlichkeit der Wohnung nach Artikel 13 Grundgesetz noch mehr verletzt wird. Es handelt sich bei eindringenden Funknetzen um digitalen Hausfriedensbruch mit der Folge der Körperverletzung. Wir sind gegen 5G, weil strahlungsfreie Gegenden der Erholung dienen und ganz besonders dem Schutz der tausenden elektrosensiblen Menschen, die es zweifelsfrei gibt. Die Diskreditierung dieser Menschen als Hypochonder ist nichts anderes als ein überheblicher Bevormundungsversuch. Gegen strahlungsfreie Gebiete sprechen ganz klar die Zehntausenden Satelliten, die aus dem All selbst die entlegensten Regionen mit Internet versorgen sollen. Diese sind konsequent zu regulieren. Wir sind gegen 5G, weil die Strahlenbelastung für Kinder auf ein Minimum zu reduzieren ist. Das sieht selbst das Bundesamt für Strahlenschutz so. Der flächendeckende WLAN-Ausbau in Schulen und womöglich Kindergärten ist deshalb kompromisslos abzulehnen. Wir sind gegen 5G, weil uns unsere Freiheit wichtig ist und wir einen Überwachungsstaat ablehnen. Was mit einer massiven Digitalisierung möglich ist, sehen wir derzeit in China, in der ein Überwachungsstaat installiert wurde, der bei Orwells 1984 nur angedeutet wurde. Wir sind nicht technologiefeindlich, aber für uns gelten ganz einfache Prinzipien. Und ein sehr wichtiges Prinzip ist Freiheit und Sicherheit zuerst, Digitalisierung danach.
Austria, Österreich. Wir stimmen G5 nicht zu.
Slovensko. Nesúhlasíme.
G was not my plea, was given no consultancy, no. I say no. Just want freedom and harmony, but it's rolling out all over me, whoa. I say no, but we're rising up across the world to say we do not consent. We say no, do not consent. For 5G, they're killing trees, endangering birds and the bees, whoa. We say no, endangering our humanity, whoa. We say no, but we're rising up across the world to say we do consent. Given what's at stake, we're giving this our all. Won't leave it up to fate. We'll write it on the walls. We say no. We don't want your smart cities, your IoT and LEDs, no. We say no. It's invasion of our privacy, we know. And we say no. A lockdown of humanity, and we do not consent. We say no. Do not consent. Putting towers on our schools and hospitals, it's just not cool, no. We say no. Tell me, is there any proof to say it's safe? We say no. We don't need more radiation. Leave our kids alone. We say no. Do not consent. Mama says no. Do not consent. Papa says no. Do not consent. Kids say no. Do not consent. Grandma says no. Grandpa says no. They say no. We say no.
Pieces drift and they fleet and we miss it. The water. Come on, to your profession, what's causing this division? Militarization, borders are closing, walls being built.
Balance is out of whack, seriously out of place. Why are they beaming 5G radiation onto us from outer space? Why are they cutting down trees, replacing them with mass for killer technology?
All the poisons were fed, the earth being killed. Politicians in bed with big corporate heads. Horsemen at the door, cataclysm and war. Disease, mind control, yet they're feeding us more.
Energy enemies
cause this is deep science, got the bees dying. I swim through the depths as I'm freestyling. Police trying to get me crying. I won't run like I'm Forrest in these times. I got courage, man, I'm no cowardly dog. Though I sweat like my hourly jog. The times are tough, that's why the rhymes don't bluff. While our 5G climate is hard.
Time to change the song. And I didn't have a choice. You want life. Freedom from strife. This is our future.
Coming from Belfast, we recognize a war when we see one, and this is a silent war. It's a war of frequency and radiation. We do not consent.
My name is Julie Levine. I live in Topanga, California, in the Los Angeles area. The reason I do not consent to 5G is because we know, we have the evidence to show that 5G as well as 4G wireless radiation are harmful, clear evidence of cancer. I myself am already sick from wireless radiation. I've started 5G Free California, and I'm working with a host of wonderful people to stop this rollout using legal and other strategies. Thank you so much. Please join us.
USA, we do not consent. It is time for the jewel that is our life on this beautiful Mother Gaia to be fully realized. No more dumbing down, no more eroding the truth of our divinity, no more destruction, no more yielding to viral programming, no exceptions. There is life here to be lived, savored, celebrated, equally for all of us, from the inchworm to the bald eagle, to the estuary, the cedar tree, and the two-legged. Let us revere one another. Let us invite our highest possibility. Our time is now.
We do not consent. Without the flowers, the birds and the bees, I cannot grow a future for my family that's worth it to live and see. And what of my son? He's barely a year. Where will he go to be safe from the harmful sphere of the mobile vibes destroying his body with nowhere to hide from all of this oddity? They say that my thyroid is attacking itself, but the last time I checked, and by this I'm overwhelmed, is the only time that I feel sick is when I'm in the city or surfing the net. I demand a choice to be offline, for my house and my forest to continue being my shrine. And I want to go to bed and rest my head, knowing that I did not give my consent.
Είμαι η Κυριακή, ζω στην Αίγινα, είμαι από την Ελλάδα και δεν συμφωνώ καθόλου με το 5G.
Speaking from Aegina in Greece, we are residents of Aegina and we do not agree with the idea of spreading radiation all over earth and sky, as is already happening, but will be much worse if 5G is proceeded with.
Ελλάδα δεν συνενούμε. Είμαι η Ελένη και θα ήθελα να πω ότι βρισκόμαστε σε μια κρίσιμη καμπή της ανθρώπινης ιστορίας και εμείς οι πολλοί άνθρωποι έχουμε τη δύναμη να την αλλάξουμε και να την πάμε στην κατεύθυνση που εμείς θέλουμε. Μαζί μπορούμε.